Good morning, class. Today we're looking at Chapter 3-2, Solving Inequalities by Adding or Subtracting. So, buildings and buses have limits on how many people they can hold. You can use inequalities to find out how many people can fit safely. You can solve inequalities by using properties similar to those that you solved in equations. So if you have -3 is less than 2, and you added 3 to each side, plus 3, you get 0 is less than 5. It's still correct. The inequality is still correct. So the addition property of an inequality says you can add the same value to each side of an inequality. Go ahead and write that down. Okay, so for example, if you had another one that we did here, 7 is greater than 3, you could add 4 to each side. Remember, you always have to keep it equal though. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So then, right, that's the same. Those are equal. So our algebra would be if A is greater than B, A plus C is greater than B plus C. Okay, because you're doing the same thing to each side. So let's jump in and give it a try. Solve inequalities by adding. So here we have n minus 10 is greater than 14. So we want to solve for n. We want n by itself. Right now 10 is being subtracted. The opposite of subtracting is adding. So we're going to add 10 to both sides. And that gets crossed out. 14 plus 10 equals 24. So n is greater than 24. Okay, let's try another. This time they want us to graph the solution. So y minus 3 is less than 4. To get rid of the minus 3, we're going to do the opposite. It's being subtracted, so we're going to do addition, add it. So plus 3 to both sides. You have y is less than 7. They want us to graph it. Here's our line. It's going to be an open circle. Here's 7. I should have done a different color. And y is less than 7. Okay. If you're doing it on paper, just make sure you do it extra thick with the pencil or the pen that you're using. So now let's look at subtraction property of inequalities. So the subtraction property says that you can subtract the same value to each side of an inequality and it doesn't change the value. Let's write that down. So as an example, 9 is greater than 6. If we subtracted 3 from 9, it's the same thing as long as we do it to the other side. In our algebra, A is greater than B, so therefore A minus C is greater than B minus C. As long as you're doing it to one side, you do it to the other. So let's look at this one. Solve y plus 7 is greater than or equal to 12. So right now it's being added. 7's being added to y. We want y to be by itself, so we're going to subtract 7 from both sides. If it helps you even with these, do my little train tracks to keep it so that you know that you're doing it on both sides. So those get crossed out. This is going to equal 5. So y is greater than or equal to 5. Okay, you try these next 3. Just for practice purposes, let's go ahead and graph them too. So this is saying that here's 5. It's a closed circle because it's equal to, and y is greater than or equal to 5. So this is what your graph would look like, just kind of a short version of it. Okay, go ahead and do the next 3 and check back in. Okay, so you should have got x is greater than -4, open circle when you're graphing it. Y is less than 1, open circle. W is less than or equal to -9, so therefore it's a closed circle. Awesome. So here is another word problem for us. A school bus can safely carry as many as 76 students. If 19 students are already on the bus, how many more can board the bus? So we have students already on the bus. They said that that was going to be 19. And then it says plus students remaining. We don't know, however many students could still go on. And then the most, right, it can have as many or equal to 76. It has to have less than or equal to 76. So this is our equation. 19 plus s is less than or equal to 76. To solve, we want to, this is a positive 19. To get rid of that, we're going to have to subtract 19. If we do it to this side, we have to do it to this side. So therefore, s is less than or equal to 57. If we want to graph that, we are going to look at the number 57. It's going to be closed, and it's going to be less than. Okay, so you try this one. To get an A, you need more than 200 points on a 2-part test. You score 109 on the first part. How many more points do you need? Okay, so you should have got 109 plus S, or you could have put it as S plus 109. You could use any variable, but I was using S for score. Needs to be more than 200 points. Notice the wording just said more than. It doesn't say more than or equal to. It just says more than. So that's why I have the inequality that doesn't have the equal sign underneath it. So to solve, I'm going to subtract 109 from both sides. So therefore, your score has to be greater than 91. Okay, so your homework tonight is page 106 and 107, 3 through 33 odd. Whew, that was a tongue twister. Happy homeworking.